It's day 199 and I promised big changes. Here's one of them. I just tried moving this pot indoors earlier, but when I did, I squeezed the pot. It's kind of a soft shell of plastic and the bottom has no ventilation. You can't tell if you've overwatered until water starts pouring out of the bottom. So this fetid water came oozing out. I got this new saucer I bought and the pot back out as quickly as possible. I tried to pour hydrogen peroxide through the top to get rid of the smell, but that wasn't enough. It's just too big of a mess. And for honeydew, you don't have that problem because the roots are voracious. They go deep. They encircle at the bottom, so they'll drink any water that sits at the bottom and not let it get fetid with the soil by just sitting there for too long. So you can see sometimes stuff oozes out. These pots are very poor in design. I'm not going to buy them again, or probably I won't use them again. But yeah, that's basically what happens. They ooze out of the bottom and you have a big mess to clean up. Here's what happened to plants 1, 2, and 3, referring to the number of former shoot systems these ones had. 1, 2, and 3. So 2 and 3 have 5 shoot systems now. Here's one. And here's the other, and plant number 1, which is now down to 1 tiny shoot system. The original died is right here in the middle. Here's Big Bertha, the one's most prominent shoot system, and it still is the tallest. It's been somewhat destroyed by spider mite activity. And you can see the original 4 tall shoot systems kind of flanking on all sides. They've still got quite a bit of green in them, and I hope they'll stay functional. That'll serve the plant well. But when you go down here, you can see 8 additional shoot systems and what looks to be a ginger rhizome. So yeah, that has all the appearance of a rhizome. It's not like what I dug up last time, which was basically just swollen, maybe root nodules if you want to call them that. And you can see just a huge cluster of shoot systems emanating from this one point. If you add up all that rhizome mass, it's a lot more than what I started this ginger germination experiment from. It was just half a rhizome. And this is basically more than a whole ginger rhizome that you would buy at a supermarket, more than 1 unit. So that's pretty good. I mean, at this point I can't lose. If I go forward, I win. If I harvest right now, I win. Although I'd like to have a lot more ginger rhizome mass, so that's what I'm shooting for. Here's a look at the other side. It's mostly just protruding shoot systems from those rhizome or root clusters. So this is a pretty big mass in there. It's pretty substantial. I don't know how deep it goes, but it's pretty good as I see it. Talk about a blast from the past. You haven't seen my plants like this indoors since maybe April, so early spring. And I did this transplant into 2 pots because I want to give plant number 4, the one on the right, the maximum chance available to generate as much rhizome mass without being cramped by the other 3 plants, which are not successful at all. I mean, they don't even have rhizome formation at all. So this entire summer was a bust for those 3 plants. It's September in San Diego, and although it gets really hot during the day, at night it gets cold outside, so it's probably 12 to 15 Celsius these days. It just started happening maybe a week ago, and I think that might have triggered some dying off of the foliage and rhizome formation for plant number 4, which has the most shoot systems now at 12 for these 3 plants on the left. They're essentially like renters living paycheck to paycheck. If it gets any colder for any longer, they're all going to die because they have no rhizome formation, no reserves at all. I didn't see any live springtails or spider mites crawling around in the soil during the transplant, so I'm assuming that the hydrogen peroxide did that and basically killed off all the soil pestilence, and combined with all the washing and spraying of the leaves, that killed all the spider mites that were living on the leaves. So basically these 2 pots are pestilence free, which is great, and I don't have to worry about bugs, invading my home. Indoor temperatures are very consistent, 25 to 27 Celsius. The heat should do wonders for all these ginger plants and hopefully trigger a fresh wave of fast vegetative growth. And now that I know how to keep all the bugs in check with hydrogen peroxide, I don't foresee any problems unless these ginger plants are already on some kind of molecular, weather or seasonal counting system where it's been cold for too many days at night and they're already prepared to suck all the nutrients from the shoot systems into the root systems and form rhizomes. I don't see how it's going to happen for these 3 plants. They don't seem to have any reserves. But for plant number 4 in its own pot, I can definitely see that happening, but hopefully that's not the case, and I can reverse all this dying off and get a lot of green shoots going. So stay tuned for exciting new growth in the future.